Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it'd be a pretty fun idea, something cool to look at if I decided to test out what sprint time is the best for me. What I mean by this is I do a lot of writing sprints. I do a lot with other people on Discord, and I do a lot just in my own time whenever I want to multitask. So I obviously set sprints so I can work on each. However, I always do different sprint times. Sometimes I might decide to do 20 minutes, sometimes I might decide to only do 10, so it really does vary. So I decided today and probably tomorrow and the day after that, just so I can get all the sprints done, I'm going to do some writing sprints using different time slots. The plan is to do a bunch of different sprints with different times that all add up to an hour of work in total. So I want to see how much I can get done in an hour of work. How much can I get done in writing sprints in different intervals. To do this experiment, I decided to use the time slots 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes and 30 minutes. So first, for this, I am going to do 12 5-minute sprints, so that adds up to an hour. Then I'm going to do 6 10-minute sprints. Then I'm going to do 4 15-minute sprints, 3 20-minute sprints and 2 30-minute sprints. So right now, I'm going to start with the 5-minute sprints. So these should go by pretty quickly, even though doing 12 of these, it is going to be an hour. As I normally do whenever doing sprints, I have a spreadsheet up here that I'm going to refer back to and put in my progress. You guys can see it right here, a screenshot of it, and I'll also show you at the end the screenshot once it's completed. I don't want to work on just one project, so I'm actually going to work on both my standalone and the second book in the dystopian trilogy, so that should be fun. Right here I've got my iPad, and this is what I'll be using for both the timer and the music. I'll be using my Spotify playlist for each individual project. If you're interested in listening to the playlist I have for both my standalone and the second book of the dystopian trilogy, I'll have them both linked down below as well so you can listen to them. Also, if you have a writing playlist for your book, don't be shy, leave it down below. I love listening to playlists for other writers and really understanding their book from their songs. I am going to get back to writing and get everything set up, and then I shall be back with the first 5-minute sprint. For this first sprint, I'm actually going to work on my standalone since it's been a hot minute since I really gave it some time. I have my 5-minute sprint ready right here. I also added 5 seconds just to give me some time to move around, get everything ready so it doesn't take time out of my minutes. I also have my playlist queued up. I guess now it's just time to get some writing done. 5 minutes for the first sprint, let's go. That 5-minute sprint is now over. I didn't realise how quick 5 minutes is. It's literally a song and a half. But yeah, if you didn't notice, I actually started a new chapter. And also, I'm starting to reach the point where my main characters realise that they're doing all this, this big scheme they've got for no reason because they've already solved their problem. They're just not opening their eyes to this solution. This book, this standalone, I already know has a big timeline error. Every chapter I feel is a new day and I never keep track of the day. 1 minute it's Thursday, the next it's last Tuesday. That's something that draft 2 will need to fix. That's something I'll need to do during rewrites. But for now, I'm just writing in the time skips so that my brain, when it's revising, knows, okay, we went from this to this. What was that period of time? Where am I now? At least I'm aware that I'm skipping in time. But in that 5-minute sprint, I managed to get 161 words. I think actually I'm going to do a few more 5-minute sprints on this book because I started a chapter. Why not work on the beginning of the chapter and then I'll switch to the second book in the dystopian trilogy. And I do need to read my outline, see what happens next, because I'm struggling to find the words a little bit. I'm just gonna get my 5-minute timer back up, get my playlist back up, and do more words, and hopefully get better than 161. It's been like a little bit, had a couple things to do, and I look different now, but I'm just as ready to do chapter 11, and so I guess I'm just gonna now finally do the 5 minutes. So right here I have the 5 minutes ready. It's been ready since the very first sprint. I left off at like the middle of a sentence. I can in fact redo the sentence because it's literally 3 words, partly because he. Now I guess the only thing I can do is finish a sentence and carry on writing chapter 11. So we're gonna start it now. So in that 5 minutes, I managed to get 190 words, which I'm pretty happy with, actually. I think I'm just going to stick with this again because I'm at a point where I know where I want to go, I know what I want to do. I did hit 41k, which is great. I managed to get 176 words, but I don't know if it showed during the sprint. I was really struggling with my sentence choice. I didn't quite know how I wanted to word a lot of the stuff, so I kept just going back and trying to make the sentence better. And to be honest, I didn't expect to get much words done, but 176, not bad. At one point I sort of trapped myself in trying to describe like why someone would be at their locker, and I was like, it's obvious. It's obvious why they'd want to be at their locker. What am I talking about? But I managed to find a way to talk about the locker because I was trying to like be sly about me describing it. But yeah, I managed to find a conversation that characters can have about the locker, and it kind of like explains a little bit. Now I'm going to switch back over to the second book of my dystopian trilogy, get some words done there. Only 5 minutes worth. I'm just gonna get the timer ready, gonna get the second book up. The second book is pulled up. Have my timer right here, ready to start. I managed to write a sentence that's like so hard-hitting, at least for this character, because this character is normally like so, he finds a joke in everything because times are so bad, like it's his only coping mechanism, but for the first time his like defense was stripped away and he truly said something hard-hitting and meaningful and something that carries throughout the book. And from that, I even managed to get 250 words, my best so far. Now that I know what I'm doing with the scene and I finally bridged the gap and I'm on the scene that I know pretty well in my head, I'm just gonna continue on. I don't think I'm gonna finish this chapter anytime soon. I just need words done. I need progress, and that's what I'm planning on doing now. For the next 2 sprints, I decided, so I'm gonna have like 3 sprints in total, just like the standalone. I'm gonna move downstairs, and because I know for a fact it'll be noisy, it'll just be me writing. I am going to try and get as much progress as I can done downstairs. So let's move locations. Yay! upstairs. I'm now in my room, and as I'm looking at the stats, I'm finding how interesting it is that the majority of my words came from the second book in the dystopian trilogy. Even though I was more confused with that, I had more of a path in my head for the standalone. On the second book of the dystopian trilogy, I'm also like a few words away from reaching 15k, which is pretty amazing and fantastic. Instead of trying to reach 15k now, I'm actually going to switch back to my standalone, get some work done there, and hopefully go back to this and reach 15k. I'm going to work on my standalone now and do sprint 7. I managed to get 214 words. Not my personal best for 5 minutes, but I'm happy it's in the 200s since my previous sprints for this book were in the 100s. I sort of backed myself into a really awkward corner with that scene just now. Like, I wrote an interaction between them and I was kind of like, okay, what do I do now? And it took me like a second to try and figure out what to do, but then I use my very favorite trick whenever I'm stuck in a scene, and that's quickly end the scene and time skip. I'm gonna do another 5-minute sprint. These sprints are going by super fast, so it doesn't even feel like 5 minutes. Then I'll be back and I'll switch. As you can probably tell, it's been some time, and the reason for this is because I had the intention of having like a small break just to like relax and chill, and I ended up taking way longer. So now I feel energized and ready to continue the 5-minute sprints. I decided to play music from my computer, which is why my playlist is up. I have 4 more sprints to do. Currently I'm thinking to do 3 sprints, 3 of those 5-minute sprints for the second book of the dystopian trilogy, and leave the last one for the standalone. However, that could change depending on my mood. For now, I'm just going to take it 1 sprint at a time, so I'm going to spend this time now doing the second book in the dystopian trilogy. I should just call it #2, and that's what I'll be working on now. So I'm going to actually do a couple of sprints without like coming to talk about them, just to get them over and done with, and then when I'm done with that, I will come back, hopefully. my 5-minute sprints are officially done. I did 12 5-minute sprints today, so I did an hour worth of work. I almost managed to get 2,600 words. I'm like one word off that, so I'll just count that as 2,600 words. Today is a new day, as you can probably tell, and I'm going to do the 10-minute sprints now. So I only have 6 10-minute sprints to do today. I found a song that suits the second book of my dystopian trilogy really well. Like, it just describes this one setting that they're going to spend a lot of time in so well. And if you're interested in listening to it, I'll have the link to the video down below. That's got me super inspired. I was bullet journaling, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do some sprints. So that's what we're gonna do. Because I'm inspired, I am going to be working on the dystopian trilogy instead of my standalone, but I'm still hoping to sprinkle in the standalone bits too. To get 370 words, which, I mean, for the very first time for me writing today, I didn't expect to get a lot. But also, I feel like there's only like one line that I really like from what I've written, and the rest needs to be changed. I'm just going to work on the standalone a little bit more. Hopefully I can get some good words down, because I'm not happy about what I've written, and that's not good. What's the point in doing the writing if you don't even like what you're writing? Another 10-minute sprint. This sprint actually, like, I'm so used to doing the 5-minute sprints from yesterday that at the 5-minute mark, I'm like, wait, hold on a second, I'm not supposed to stop yet? It feels like really quick 10-minute sprints, but then it also feels like so long. So I don't know, that's kind of weird. Did 2 10-minute sprints, both of them in the standalone, and I actually managed to write things that I'm happy with, so I guess switching did help. As much as I'd love to continue doing the standalone, I was hit with inspiration for the dystopian trilogy. It was the first book that I was hitting inspiration for, a scene that didn't happen but I think would benefit happening in that book. That inspired me to go back and try and progress in the trilogy, the second book at least. Even though I am sort of stuck, progress is still progress. So now I'm just gonna go back over to my writing corner, do another 10-minute sprint, this time on the second book of the dystopian trilogy. And before Discord distracts me because I see it coming in, I'm gonna go work over there, set my timer, get my music ready, and try and get some good words down. It might not look like it, but it's been like a little bit of time, and I actually decided to go back to the sprinting. It's only been like half an hour, but I decided to go back to the sprinting because I just want to sprint. I decided instead of staying here in my little writing corner where I'll probably get the most work done, I'm actually going to move to my bed. Hopefully get like 500 words done, but we'll have to see. We'll have to definitely see if that's even possible. So now I'm over here, and as I was moving, I was trying to decide whether I want to continue with the dystopian trilogy, the second book, or whether I want to move to the standalone. That's something I have to decide each sprint, because on a normal day I just switch back and forth, but obviously I have to like really get into concentration mode when I want to do that. And also 10 minutes is not enough for me to keep switching and trying to figure out what to do. I need quite a bit of time to switch back and forth like that, so I don't think I can just switch back and forth. But I think I'm going to work on the Dystopian trilogy now, and then for the final 10-minute sprint do some of the standalone work. I think that's what I'll do. Now I decided to and felt inspired to do my 15-minute sprints now. I only have 4 15-minute sprints to do because 15, 30, 45, 60, an hour of work. In this 15-minute sprint, I decided I would start with the second book of my dystopian trilogy, mostly because I know the direction I'm going in, so I feel like the words will leave me easiest. But then, since I haven't worked on the standalone for quite a bit, I will switch back to that afterwards. For this 15-minute sprint, I actually thought it'd be pretty fun if I used Discord's bot to do some sprinting. I sort of was learning how to use it today using the main young writers Discord server I'm in. I created my own just so that I don't like bombard people with the amount of sprints I've got to do. Turns out that I was continuing chapter 6 even though I wasn't supposed to. What I mean by that was I was continuing chapter 6 even though what I was writing about was for chapter 7. It's a good thing I looked at my outline now and not later on. I can't really start chapter 7 until chapter 6 is done. I like to write chronologically just because it makes more sense in my head. So that's, I guess, what we'll have to do. And the scene I forgot to miss is actually very important because it shows these characters not knowing an important piece of information that my main characters just learnt about. So it's kind of cool to do the parallel, and also it makes sense later down the line why they would react in the way they did when they all meet together. So I just created the channel so that I can just sprint on my own in my own server. I've got 2 minutes until the sprint starts, and in that time I'm just going to get everything set up, try and figure out the scene because I was quite vague within the outline. It's just simply switch to POV characters and make sure this happens, and obviously I can't do much with the sentence, so I'm going to try to figure that out. Going to get my playlist ready and then I'll do some sprinting with Sprinto. Right now, I decided to finish the sprints for today. I might go back to it later since it is only 7:15, so 6:45, and I still have quite a lot of time. I still have a lot of sprints I can do, but as it sits right now, I just want to stop, as well as doing a form for beta reading because I have a short story I'm going to be writing soon. I already started writing it, but I'm sort of leaving it for now because I want to work on other stuff. Next time you see me, I'll be doing a sprint, so I'll see you then. So yesterday I had every intention to write, but like that didn't end up happening. Yesterday was sort of like a chill day. Today is also the beginning of Frantic February, which is something I'm doing with the Discord where you're trying to write as much as you can for the first week of February. And my goal is 10,000 words. So I'm trying to get like 1,400 words daily. I decided it'd be good if I continued my sprints today. So as you might have just seen, I'm about to do a 15-minute sprint. So I think I'm just gonna get to that because I'm feeling super inspired. I have an author 2 video right there in front of me. So I'm just gonna spend time sprinting for 15 minutes. I'm going to move over to my writing corner because being over here with the TV right in front of me, though I love watching author 2 videos and a bunch of other TV shows, they get me super distracted. So I'm going to move back over there and I'm going to do my 15-minute sprint, the last 15-minute sprint I have to do of this experiment. And then if I still feel productive, I'm going to do a 20-minute sprint. This is like the final page of outlining I've got. This is chapter 8. And I'm currently around here. So that's not good because I've only got this stuff to go through and then I'm out of outlining and that's going to freak me out. I'm going to move and I'm going to do yet another 15-minute sprint. And conveniently, the last 15-minute sprint I have to do. That concluded all my 15-minute sprints. Now that I'm done with those, I'm actually feeling still pretty productive, so I think I'm going to move on to the 20-minute sprints, and I'm hoping I can actually get a pretty good word count for those. And instead of working on the second book of the dystopian trilogy, I'm going to leave that for now and work on the standalone because I think I need to outline a little bit before I work on the second book. And also I haven't worked on my standalone yet today, so I think it'd be good if I put some progress into that. I have to pull up my documents now because I haven't pulled them up yet, and then when I'm ready, I'll come back and start my sprint. Finished my first 20-minute sprint and I managed to get almost 1,000 words, which is just crazy to me because if you've watched my 12-hour write-a-thon, you would have seen how the most I got in an hour is like 1,100 words. And that was an hour and that was 20 minutes and I almost got the same. Now what I'll do is some outlining, and if you see me next, it should be me doing more sprinting, but that's, I don't know whether they'll be today, whether they'll be tomorrow. Finally get to stop drafting for a little bit but still feel like I'm doing something productive. I'm here to actually say I did a 20-minute sprint on Discord and I managed to get like 800 words, which isn't as good as my first one, but considering I did take quite a bit of a break, I'm happy with that. I'll take that progress. Any progress is still good. And it also means that I have one more 20-minute sprint to do and then 2 30-minute sprints to do, and then the experiment is done. So for the first 20-minute sprint I did, it was the standalone, and the second 20-minute sprint I did was the second book of the dystopian trilogy. So I think for the last 20-minute sprint I'm going to work on the standalone because I just know what I'm doing with it. The dystopian one, like I sort of went rogue and I added in a scene that wasn't there, but I think it's nice to add because it foreshadows to something that readers will find out about later. And if anyone picks up on this when they read the second book, I'll honestly be impressed because I'm trying to be so vague with this, but I'm also trying to make it like a callback to if people read all of the books and then they choose to reread it, they'll say, oh yeah, now it makes sense, now it all clicks together. Also, just before I get into writing, I just quickly wanted to say something that I completely forgot to say, but it's a pretty big thing, a pretty big step for me, so I think I should say it. I have beta readers. I have like a couple of beta readers that are going to beta read my short story for me when I actually write it, and I think I mentioned it before in like my project video, what I'm working on. It's currently on hold. I am going to be starting to work on it very soon because it's February now, and then beta readers are going to get it and they're going to let me know, because I'm trying to get used to the writing process, how to revise, how to edit, how to take beta reader feedback, and just how to write a good story. And the easiest way to do that is to write a short story and get that all done, because less to edit, less to write. Back to writing. I'm gonna do my 20-minute sprint now. As soon as the sprint was done and I was about to log my word count into Sprinto, my computer told me that I was about to die, so I had to run up the stairs as quickly as I could to my charger and put it on charge and like log all my results. Seeing as that 20-minute sprint is now done and I only have the 30-minute ones to do, which I'll do tomorrow, I'm going to stop for today. I'm going to edit the video that I was told myself to edit, so I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Today is the second day of Frantic Feb, or Frantic February, or another day of me doing writing sprints. So I plan to spend both half an hour on my standalone and half an hour on the second book of my dystopian trilogy, so hopefully both can get some progress. So I decided the first thing I would do is work on the standalone so that I can get warmed up with the words. Since the standalone, I'm sort of pantsing it. I'd say I'm more of a plantser now, since I do have a very rough outline for what I'm doing. I'm going to work on the standalone, get warmed up with some words, and then I will try my best to write as much as I can for dystopian trilogy. Seeing what my word count was for 20 minutes, how it was like roughly 800 words, I don't think I will run out of things to talk about. The scenes I have left for chapter 7 and for chapter 8, they're like, I mean, my chapters are normally 2,000 words each, so I don't think I will finish. But now that my document is loaded up, if you can see right here, I am going to get my timer ready. I'm going to get my playlist ready, which I haven't yet. I'm going to get the 30-minute sprint ready. Right, so here we go. So in that sprint, I managed to get 1,300 words, which I think is pretty great considering during my 12-hour write-a-thon, the most I wrote was like 1,100 words, and that was factored in with me also writing for an hour. Like, I wrote for an hour and only managed to write 1,100 words, and here I managed to write 1,300 words in half the amount of time. So for this sprint, I decided to hop onto Discord and just do like a private 30-minute sprint on my own. And by private, I mean using the server that I'm in exclusively. I officially finished the final 30-minute sprint and I managed to get a little bit more than last time, which I'm pretty happy with. So first of all, stats. This was my chart before I completed anything, so just a plain template. And then this is my current chart. So as you can see, my best word count in an hour is the 30-minute sprints. My second best was the 5-minute sprints. However, I felt like I wrote the best words, my favorite phrases and lines and dialogue and all that during the 15-minute sprints. I like to do 15-minute sprints in my own time anyway. I just find 15 minutes and then a break like pretty doable when it comes to writing, especially if I want to get a lot done in a day. Of course, we do have to like factor in that my results purely depend on how well I know what I'm writing and how well I can come up with the scene. So for some scenes, I might have had it really difficult to think of what to do, and then others just flow to me, and so hence I have different types of words. I think the best sprint time for me is 15 minutes. But if I truly wanted to get words done, I think I'd have to work in either 30-minute intervals or 5-minute intervals, because those are the best 2 times. That's it from me for now. I know this video is going to be quite lengthy because I do have a lot of footage to cut down. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you would ever try something like this. I think it's interesting to see how much really you get done in an hour worth of sprints. But yes, anyway, that's it from me for now. I hope to have a new video out Wednesday, and I also hope you enjoyed watching this video. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!